Trouble for Hillary Clinton. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Yesterday, Bernie Sanders pounded Mrs. Clinton in West Virginia, state she easily won in 2008 when she received 67% of the vote against Barack Obama. The president back then got 26%. But this is now. Hillary Clinton's campaign is drifting. Donald Trump rising in the polls. Secretary Clinton's aides are talking to the FBI about the email case. And she is even being criticized by ardent liberals.
What I think about Hillary Clinton is, I imagine to be a very bright woman without the courage of her convictions, because I'm not even sure what they are. Maybe a real person doesn't exist underneath there. I don't know.
Also this morning, Vice President Biden said something that may annoy Mrs. Clinton.
I had planned on running. It's an awful thing to say. I think I would have been the best president, but it was the right thing, not just for my family, for me.
Talking Points will remind everyone that if Secretary Clinton is indicted over the email fracas, it is likely to be Joe Biden, not Bernie Sanders, who will get the Democratic nod at the convention. Party chieftains know Senator Sanders is simply too far out there to win the presidency. So why is Hillary Clinton having so much trouble right now? First of all, Sanders has rattled her. She never expected that kind of intense challenge from a socialist. Second, although the secretary is smart, she's not a natural campaigner. While Sanders has energized younger voters, Mrs. Clinton cannot even seem to win over the far left.
You have young people in this city who aren't loyal to the Clintons because their parents were locked up by the 1994 crime bill. Their parents were attacked with the war on drugs, with welfare reform. Their parents, these are the victims of the Clinton administration. This is a new generation.
But the new generation doesn't turn out in large numbers to vote. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Now, in order to beat Donald Trump, Mrs. Clinton's going to have to come out of the left-wing precincts and appeal to independent voters. Therefore, she will have to talk to people like me and answer responsible questions. Trump talks to everybody. He's on MSNBC all the time. But Hillary Clinton is very cautious granting interviews. At this point, she might want to rethink that strategy. If she truly believes that she's the right person to run this country, then Hillary Clinton should talk to all Americans, not just ideological soulmates. For now, the Clinton campaign is in trouble, no doubt. But a resounding victory in California could change all that. The vote in the Golden State on June 7th. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight reaction. With us here in New York City, Dr. David Rothschild, founder of PredictWise.com. And in Washington, Richard Salmon from the Kiplinger Letter. All right, Mr. Salmon, begin with you. Am I making any mistakes?
Your talking points captured very well. Any campaign at this level has ups and downs. Hillary Clinton is not having a good week. However, she does have a lot in her favor if you look at the electoral map. And she also has a tremendous campaign organizational ability. That said, she has a passion deficit. She needs to rally the base more than her current arguments have.
The base, the far left base is with Sanders. But didn't the polling yesterday surprise you? Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, Trump's right with her. I mean, yes. Didn't that surprise you? You say the electoral map. Trump wins all three of those states. He's likely to be president.
Very well. With some of the states that you mentioned, they have a Democratic foundation. However, they are flippable. And she has to be careful about states exactly like the ones you mentioned, Pennsylvania and Virginia and Ohio. This is an election year that is in flux. And to assume that one state will go the way it has in the past is probably wrong to agree.
I think the rules have changed this year. Now, Doctor, we had you on a few days ago. PredictWise was given, I think it was 3-to-1 odds that Hillary Clinton.
70% for Hillary?
70%. Okay. That's almost 3-to-1.
Yeah.
All right. 70% that Hillary Clinton would win. Have you changed now with this latest Quinnipiac poll?
They haven't changed very much because what I see is that this week wasn't great for her, but it was all in the realm of things we expected to happen. We thought she was going to lose West Virginia. She lost West Virginia, and as you pointed out...
But she got pounded. She didn't just lose.
Well, I mean,
she got creamed.
She was expected to not do very well with the demographic that we expected to come out, and as you're saying, we expect her to rebound in the later primaries, and it looks like she may even put some resources more than she was going to into some of those primaries. And quite frankly, it is hers to win. She's going to win it. And she has 6 months to worry about the enthusiasm gap.
You say she's going to win it, so you're going to put up your bow tie on that? I mean, you're going to bet that?
I would bet my bow tie.
Against
this is a nice bow tie.
No, I'm not betting because I got to cover this thing fairly.
But
but you are still convinced that she's a lock?
I think that she is a lock. And I also say that I look at that polling, and these are also things that we would expect to happen. As you pointed out, Trump wins those states, he wins. But Trump needs to win all of those states.
Yeah, he's
and that
gotta win
Quinnipiac polling only had him ahead in one of those states and very closely behind in 2 of those states.
But it was a big sample. It was more than 1,000 voters. Well,
sure,
let me just
more than
stop
1,000 voters, but it's also early. And
but it's speculation,
yes.
so we're not going to get into the electoral vote. But you concede that the Clinton campaign's foundering, would that be a fair word? Drifting?
What I would say is that the Hillary campaign did not have a great week, but this is nothing outside the realms of expectations.
I see this as a more inherent problem. What about my contention that Hillary Clinton's got to expand her message? That if she keeps going farther and farther left to compete with Sanders, that's just wiping out all the moderate independents. They're not going to even listen to her when she comes around. Mr. Samet.
Yes, and with Hillary Clinton's message, it needs to be a more powerful and dynamic message than it has been. And that will probably come in the fall. All things are going to change after the political conventions. The fall debates, for instance, I continue to think they will be very important.
Yeah, I agree.
And she will show up.
Sure, she's smart. Everybody knows she's smart. But the deficits that Trump can go after are considerable, and vice versa, and vice versa. But I continue to say that right now, Mrs. Clinton has got to start thinking about, Doctor, expanding her base a little bit. She just can't run on a far-left platform. Last word.
What we're looking at is a platform that is fairly middle of the road. We're looking at somebody who doesn't need to expand the electorate. The electorate that won for Obama is more than enough for her to take this time around. She just needs to hold ground at Obama and not lose too many other states.
Okay, so she's got to hold what he put together.
She has to hold what he put together, and she's not any further to the left than he is. And so if Obama was able to win in 2012,
he's
then
the most liberal president of all time.
Well, if that is your contention, he's the most liberal president of all time,
yeah.
And that Hillary is more conservative.
That's not my contention.
And he won
I don't know where she is.
And he
yet.
won in 2012. That puts Hillary in very good shape with the general population.
When she comes in to talk to me, we'll find out where she is on a political spectrum. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.